Hello viewers. So today I'm making real staple of the Lebanese kitchen, Mujaddara. Getting right into it, you need a lot of onions. The caramelized onions are really the key to making this really super simple dish taste amazing, like full of flavor, and you can't imagine you're only really having 3 ingredients. So probably the hardest thing to do, I think, is to know when your onions are done. You're going to cook them, and it's probably going to take at least a half an hour before you're going to get that really deep, earthy, caramelized flavor. A couple things you can do to help. You can throw some salt in there to absorb the liquid, help them brown up faster, or you can add a little sugar to get some extra caramelization. And you're going to want to wait till they're brown. You're going to be tempted to take them off early. I've done this with, like this, and it's taken up to 45 minutes before. The other thing is you're going to want a lot more onions than you think, because they are going to cook down a lot by probably a third, probably by 2/3. So I use large yellow onions. You can use any kind of onion, red, white, yellow, but for Mujaddara, I like the earthiness and the intensity of the yellow onions, the Spanish onions. And you could also use Vidalia. The extra sugar will help the caramelization. But you want big onions, or a lot of them. You don't necessarily have to have big onions, but if you use, I used like 3 big onions here. You're going to use probably, like, if you get small ones, you'll probably need 6 or 7. So I just save the time and get the big ones. It's less slicing up to do. So I'm going to let those keep going, cover this up a little bit, just to keep I sometimes do this outside. I just didn't get around to it today, didn't feel like it. And now over here, I've got a pot of lentils, and I've got 2 cups of lentils here and 6 cups of water. So that's going to cook, and just cook those until they're done. Bring them up to a boil, and then bring them down to a sort of a brisk simmer, not like a super boil, but not like a really light simmer either. Somewhere where the water's moving quite a bit, but not going crazy. So yeah, that's the first step to amazing flavor. Like I said, this is a staple of the Lebanese kitchen, and really high in fiber, super healthy. Make a bunch of it, it'll last you a whole week. So alright, I'll be back. Alright, so these are coming along now. I forgot to mention that I'm cooking these in olive oil, and quite a bit. This is a big pan. This is like a 12-inch saute pan, like straight walled, and I covered the bottom with about 1/8 an inch of oil, which was, well, maybe not that much, maybe like I don't know, 1/16 of an inch, but I would say it was about half a cup of oil, at least. Olive oil, good extra virgin olive oil. I know it seems like a lot, but we're making a lot of. This is going to yield a big amount. Plus, olive oil is really good for you, so don't worry about it. So these are getting close. Well, they're about halfway. See, you really want them to look dark brown. Like, some of these already are there, so I'm going to move them around a little bit more frequently until they reach that. And I'm going to you want to take these off the heat when they're done, because they will continue to cook in that hot oil. So, okie doke. Okay, so this is the point you would probably say to yourself, alright, they're done. Trust me, they're not quite done. Believe it or not, you want them even browner. Kind of like this little patch is over here. So I'm going to keep stirring these. I've lowered the heat a little bit so they don't really start running away on me as far as brown. But we are getting close. See a little, that one stir I did right there alone revealed some additional browning. So we're really close. My lentils are simmering over here. See, they've got a good bubble on them. It's not just like a little, you know, 2 bubbles a second. So continue stirring these, getting close, and then what I'll do when these are done is I'll pour these out into a bowl. And I'm going to leave a little bit of room for them to brown, actually, just a touch more once they hit that bowl, because like I said, that hot oil is going to keep cooking them. Alrighty, pretty good, but still another minute. Okay, I'm going to let the oil cool down over here separately for a bit. And these onions will crisp up a little bit more. Test my lentils here. You want them to be nice and soft, but not mush. No, not ready yet. So right here I've got some Burghul, aka Bulgur Wheat. And this is the #1 size. So this is the real small size. You could use a coarser grind. That would be fine. It might be, especially if you're not gonna, you know, turn the Mujaddara into like a dip or something. This is more commonly used for making kibbe, and but I like to use it in this because, like I said, I like to sort of blitz up the Mujaddara a little bit to give it more of a dip-like texture. So we're gonna just wash this, just gonna rinse this a little bit, not too much. Like if I were making kibbe, I'd rinse it and let it sort of sit in warm water for a while to soak up. But we want it to absorb most of the water when we add it to the water for the lentils. That's gonna help us arrive at the right texture for it. We'll slowly add this. So I'm just gonna give it a rinse to really just to wash it. Get out as much of that water as you can. Alright, let's take a look here. So, yeah, this is looking good. I don't think I mentioned that when I started. This is 2 cups of water. 2 cups of lentils and 6 cups of water. There we go. Alright, that's done. Turn the heat down to low. Start adding my Bulgur wheat here, a little at a time. Give it a moment to absorb. Doesn't take long. That's what I like about using this. I grew up having it. My mom would make it with rice, and she was really good about measurements, and she makes it perfect every time. I always had a hard time with the rice because I never quite knew how much to add, and of course it takes about 15-20 minutes to absorb. With this Bulgur wheat, it absorbs really fast, so you can really see as you go the right texture. Usually it does take close to the whole cup. This might do it though, right here. A little more. Okay. My onions. Traditionally, you'll see this served with the lentil porridge is dished up, and then it's sort of topped with the onions. And I could have saved some just for garnish, but I like the homogenized flavor. Once you get all those onions in there mixed in, and it just flavors the whole batch. And there's that oil. Ah, yeah. And you're definitely gonna need to season it. Do start with about a teaspoon of salt. Totally eyeballed that. I'm going to give it a taste. Yes. God, that really deep, earthy, rich, caramelized flavor of the onions is really just everything in this dish. It's amazing. I can't think of a a dish with fewer ingredients with as much flavor as this. It's pretty incredible. 3 ingredients plus salt, and there you go. That's looking good. I don't know if I'm even gonna blitz this. These tiny little lentils, they look good like this, and they break up. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll take a immersion blender and give it a quick blitz. But honestly, this is looking good as it is. So give it another taste. Just about perfect. Dash of salt. Just needed a little bit more. And that is good. I'll save that oil, because when you serve it up, you can put a little drizzle of oil on. And a little note about serving this. I grew up eating this cold, and that's my favorite way to eat it. I think it tastes best cold. You can eat it hot, of course, right out of the pan. It's delicious either way, but for me, a nice cold dish of Mujaddara with a drizzle of onion flavored olive oil just can't be beat, and super healthy. Alright, there you have it. I hope you learned something. It's a simple dish, but it is kind of tricky to get right. So practice makes perfect. Hope my tips were helpful. Okay, so I served myself a little small bowl to try. Drizzle a little bit of that onion olive oil. Yum. So good. Really earthy, super earthy. I mean, that is the word to describe this dish. Just full-bodied flavor, really. Just packed with flavor. And delicious and healthy. It's like I said, I grew up eating this my whole life, and it's just one of those things that I crave and have to make every so often. Those onions get really sweet. It's just, you gotta try it. Enough of me talking about it. Go out and do it. And enjoy. Good with Syrian bread. Dip right in. All right, thank you. Bye.